Welcome back to another video. If you know me by now, then you should know that one of my favorite topics in life is the concept of time. Ever since I got cancer, I became obsessed with the concept of time and inevitably one's timeline. Given that when I got the news of my potentially life-ending cancer, I became aware of a potential ending of my timeline, something which I never considered, and something that a lot of healthy people who never really had bad things happen to them in terms of medical conditions or accidents have really considered. That time is really your most valuable equity. And I know that's like the most cliche thing to say, so let me dive right into what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what people in society consider to be the best years of our lives. I've come up with this theory based on my analysis of the world, different cultures, and different opinions. No matter which continent I travel to, it seems to be the most widespread accepted truth that one's prime, one's best years of their life are in their, what do you think? Drum rolls. 20s! Your 20s, right? That's what everybody talks about. I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm an adult. No, you're not. I've got a little bit of money now, and I can do whatever the hell I want. Because I still have that teenage energy. I still have that testosterone flowing. I still can go out until 6 in the morning, take a 1 hour nap, and get to work. You guys know what I'm talking about. So, me being 36 now, this is a topic that comes up all the time. People, my peers, talking about, man, when I was young, in my 20s, and I'm like, man, there's a real, weird thing happening when it comes to that. People really talk about that like those are like the best years. And to me it's funny because, and maybe it's because I had my 2 cancers in my 20s, but I have never felt, looked, and just overall been better than I am now at the age of 36. And this is something my father always used to tell me. Shout out to Dad. He always used to tell me, when I was 35, that's when I was at my peak as a man. And I always remembered that. And he would mention, he would say, I wasn't as fast or flexible as when I was 24. He says physical strength peaks in your 20s, but overall health and strength and understanding of things and mental clarity and mental peace does not fully become yours until your mid-30s. And I thought about that for so long, and the closer that I got to that age, the more it became true. We can call it confirmation bias, but I'd like to think I've been fairly objective, documenting my life, seeing how I was at 26, 27, 28, 29. Heck, you can literally just go back to one of my earlier videos when I was 29. I was already vlogging. Look at that person. Look at that boy, man, whatever you want to call it, and you tell me if you think he was doing better than this person you see here today. Look at that screaming, insecure character, Big Boy Benzo! And ask yourself, is that someone that was at a better point in life than the person you're watching today? But let's not make it about me. Again, I have a theory to make my case to you guys. Why do we think it's all about the 20s? I've boiled it down to this one thing. What is probably the most unimportant, important thing in the daily lives of the average human being, especially men. Sports. I think it's sports. I think sports dominate our culture in every single way imaginable. As I'm recording this, we are having a summer in which we just had the European Football Soccer Championship. We just simultaneously had the Copa America, which is the equivalent of the European Championship only in South America. We are currently having the Tour de France, and we're about a week away from the Olympics starting in France. So, if you don't like sports this summer, sucks to be you, because that's all we got. And we got a lot of it. And we're going to make sure we're going to keep feeding it to you. We're gonna there will be plenty of options. Anything is on the menu, but you do have to watch and enjoy and discuss sports. Because sports are, whether you like it or not, the thread that keeps society together. It's the one religion that has yet to been overthrown at this point. I'm catching myself. I'm not gonna get into religion. And why am I mentioning sports as it pertains to the concept of this video, the prime of one's life, the prime years? Because all we do is watch and listen to sports, and we hear these commentators, journalists, basically evaluate these players, talk about these players. And in sports terms, no matter the sport really, on average, a player, an athlete, if you will, peaks around 28. Football, basketball, soccer, through 28, that's like the pinnacle of like, you're still young, but you're like, you know everything, you're experienced, you're already a veteran, but you still got that like immortality, that strong body. Like 28 is just like, you know. And then we see players turning 30, 31, 32, and all of a sudden they become talked about in a very different type of manner. All of a sudden now we talk about, ooh, he's on his way out, or we praise how they're still able to do such amazing things at such an advanced age. Mind you, they're 32, which is like super young, objectively as a man. Like you haven't even hit your true peak yet. But in sports, when you're 33, you're ready for retirement. And so art imitates life, life imitates art. I feel like we have collectively adopted this point of view, and we have taken it and we have began to project it on ourselves. And so, because we talk about sports so much, we have now convinced ourselves that once we are in our 30s, we're basically washed. Guys, if you live life the right way and you just do the minimum in terms of taking care of yourself and looking after yourself, you should not be getting old or like really slow down or be incapable of doing anything until you're like 50. The 30s is when you absolutely peak. Again, I'm 36, I had 2 cancers. I've never been this strong. I've never had better cardio. I'm just like, you know, and it took a while. I also did it naturally. That also has a lot to do with it. But my point is, we are not professional athlete guys. We're not out here playing 82 NBA games. We're not out here playing Champions League finals. So like, there's a reason why those professional athletes are done by 35, because their body is just burnt up. professional sports are not good or healthy for your body. Plot twist, who could have thought? But that is not you and that is not me. We are not doing that. Okay? We're not even close to putting that excessive amount of workload on our joints, on our knees, on our hips, on our lower back, on our legs. We're not doing that, right? We're actually just being healthy. Again, if you're doing it right. So, this is why. Because we look at Messi at 38, we look at Ronaldo at 39, and we're like, oh my God, they're ancient. Like, you remember Man Ronaldo? Like, yeah, he was 18. Like, you know what I mean? Like, somehow that has become our idea. Like, we look at our prime years solely in the context of physical strength and conditioning and ability. Like, there's just way more to the matrix of life than just peak physical ability when it comes to determining your prime. Mental development, experience, having gone through things, having drawn conclusions, personal growth, evolution, spiritual evolution. Like, this body is literally just one aspect. It's the vessel that carries our spirit, our soul, our thoughts, our mind, our personality, which is the one thing that takes the longest to develop and grow and be optimized. Whereas the body, if you just, again, if you take care of it, it's going to be fine. The body is an incredible vessel. It's incredibly strong. That's why I was able to survive cancer twice. Not because I'm a superhero, because the body can take a lot of abuse. And it can still bounce back. So, because we identify too much with sports, this is what we do. And it's a wrong way of thinking. We need to change that mindset. The 20s are nothing more but the runway to our real prime, which doesn't start until 35. I promise you guys, this is what I live for. This is my passion. This is all I think about. All I ever, and I know this means nothing in terms of scientific evidence or data, but all I ever do is walk around Mexico City, Barcelona, Rio de Janeiro, no matter where I'm at, all I ever do is literally every day I walk around and I look at people and I watch them and I see how old they are and I try to draw correlations between the way they look and their energy, and I try to, chat with someone and try to get a feel for where they're at in life and how they are, and this is all I do, guys. I'm obsessed with the concept and the idea of time and one's timeline and one's prime. And you do not hit that prime until you're in your mid-30s. So get it out of your head. Stop manifesting this negative idea of you being washed and old and slow and all those negative things when you hit your mid-30s. Mind you, I'm talking to and about men here, because I'm a man. I don't know how to talk about women because I'm not a woman. All right, so let me put that in there. But that's really I cannot tell you how much better I feel in every single way. I know who I am now. I know what I stand for. I know where I draw my lines. I know where I have my limits. When I didn't know, I used to have so much anxiety. I used to get into these social situations and I would express things, whether it would be sober or drunk or whatever the case may be, or in an emotional state, and the next day I would have intense feelings of regret and anxiety and shame, all that is gone at 36, baby. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I stand for. I know exactly what I bring to the table and what I expect. I no longer live by spiritual platitudes or memes or one-liners. No expectations. Like, yeah, do you. That I know what I need. I put forward expectations. I deliver on expectations because I understand that's what friendship and relationships are all about. Not to go on a tangent here, and my point is, I'm now able to fully embrace who I am as I've put together my own philosophy, my own ideology, based on going through life, using my 20s as a runway to my real prime. I've worn a lot of different hats, I've tried a lot of different styles, both literally and figuratively speaking. And there's no more regret in my actions. Not saying that it can't happen, not saying that, again guys, never black and white, alright? It's never about I have arrived, I know it all now. No. We're not doing that, we're not talking about that. But it is okay to point out and enjoy growth. Alright guys, that is the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment. Comment below on other things that you would like me to discuss or you would like to get my point of view on. I would be more than happy to oblige and make a video talking about that. Life is beautiful. Alright guys, peace out.